Either way, Drossard and enjoy.
All right, so King's Row, the first hurdle to overcome, and we are going to be painting it as such because, frankly, EnVyUs have looked absolutely unstoppable. Chipsogen going Hanzo Taimu on Widowmaker. Guys, I really don't think this is what's going to be happening here, but we have at first EnVyUs attacking. We'll see how quickly they are able to make inroads onto King's Row, and we begin. 4 minutes left to take the first point. And yep, we have gone ahead and switched off. Now, Coco is going Reinhardt. We are going to be playing the traditional slower push, but they're coming in from the right, and oh my god, that was quick.
Yeah, speaking of slow pushes, oh, they're already there on the point, and they are trying to smash some faces. TSM, they are receiving the face smashing at the moment, but they are holding her own to some degree. We still have a few players alive here, but EnVyUs' presence cannot be denied on the point, and this is so much damage done. Tailspin getting in there as well as Taimu, and things are looking problematic here for TSM.
Oh, 35 seconds.
35, only 35 seconds.
Something one-sided, something Mobius strip. That was, wow. I mean, okay, it's fine for EnVyUs to take the point quickly. We've seen plenty of King's Row opportunities where the defending team were actually able to stall for quite a long time on the road section here, but this can't have been the best confidence booster for TSM to begin.
Absolutely not, and TSM need to find a way to buy some time here, and they're going to have to do so on the windy road, the meandering road, and they're going to try to push their way in. But look at this, Coco's going to go straight in. We're actually going to get the Ice Wall. Tailspin switching to Mei, as you do.
What? Yes, that's a thing here. I mean, why not? At the moment, though, that isn't paying off. Torque manages to pick off Tailspin, and Harblue actually takes out Taimu. So all of a sudden, EnVyUs are going to get pushed back, and they will get punished for that pick, potentially. It didn't look like it bought them too much time, and this is exactly what we were saying. TSM might not be able to take the first point before the capture point, but they are able to delay the payload in the middle.
One thing about Mei is that can be quite nice is the opportunity to separate the defense, to pick off the forward players. Actually missing the Ice Wall there, wanted to trap the Reinhardt in front of it, but instead it's not going to go to plan, giving TSM a good opportunity to clean house here, and that is exactly what's doing. Headshots for days for Torque. Mei will keep herself alive just for a few seconds longer before being eliminated. Surely Mei is going to go down here, and there it is finally. Torque will do the honors.
Mei, the one hero in this current meta nobody has spoken about at any point in time. Well, as it turns out, EnVyUs are rewriting the rulebook here, but they are being held on the middle portion of the map. Tailspin does have the ultimate available, though, so Mei could go ahead and freeze things up. We'll see how she chooses to do that as they continue to push on in. 80 meters and counting, moving towards the second checkpoint.
And here we go, we should start to see an opportunity now to see some money. Mei Ultimates again, trying to separate people, trap them so they can't retreat. In comes the Death Blossom there from Nicholas. There are TSM, but how much damage is he going to do? Not too much, and the ultimate of Mei will be found. And it's actually landing itself in a great location here.
Wow.
EnVyUs are losing a couple of members, but they're doing equal damage to a TSM.
Next level, Mei confirmed. Tailspin trying his best. Actually getting 2 or 3 kills before going down himself there. Coco now basically the last bastion of hope, and he'll get taken out by a blow to the side of the head. Harblue without the mech suit now as well, but TSM are holding strong. They're pushing the payload back, and we'll see what EnVyUs come out with in this next push. Tailspin dying after using the ultimate, but sticking with Mei.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. I keep glancing up to the top right of the screen. Is he going to stick to Mei? Is he going to stick to Mei? Off 3 dies each time. As you said, committing after the ultimate's gone, so we'll see more Mei here as push comes back in. TSM looking to meet brute force. A brute force there as a charge will be pretty good, actually, but Trey's coming in now, as we'll have EnVyUs battling forwards, and right now it's just chaos all over the place. Loads of individual battles, but you can see it just freezing D.Va there. That's actually pretty awesome. Another great Ice Wall. That's going to separate 2 players who really wanted to fall back in time. They're trying to escape, but the pursuit is good right now from all of the players of EnVyUs behind Tailspin, and there you go. They're going to push forwards, and it's going to work.
Wow, so Tailspin making Mei work. I guarantee in scrims, this is not the kind of composition TSM scrim against an awful lot. So EnVyUs are bringing up something special. Tailspin actually does a very good job of cleanup duty because, of course, the gun there prevents Reaper, for example, from getting away quite as quickly as he would like. Picking off individual members of TSM becomes significantly easier when they don't move as fast. And there is the wall actually preventing the Deadeye from coming down as well.
I'm actually loving the usage of the wall right now to just keep them from being able to retreat, and the push comes in. The ultimates are rattling off all over the place here for EnVyUs, and still 3 to go to. The Earth Shatter and the Deadeye are ready, and the kills are raining in for EnVyUs as they are making the payload move all the way down the home stretch. It will find itself pretty much on the point right now. It is a desperate attempt to save the day here. Nicholas coming in with a Death Blossom, does a lot of damage here with the sound barrier. They might even be able to hold here.
Oh, that was a very good defensive Matrix though, and the Reinhardt shield to try and block it off as well. That's going to allow EnVyUs to do an awful lot of damage on the follow-up. Coco, Tailspin both going down. The payload so close to finishing. Torque now trying to continue to stop this from happening, and moving on to Tracer. We've got a Diva on top of the point as well. You're right, EnVyUs might actually get pushed back here. They're taking a little bit too long and allowing TSM to regroup. Harry Hook trying his best, but at the moment he isn't getting much damage done. He needs the other members of the team to come in as well.
And EnVyUs are starting to bring themselves back into the forefront there, into the battle. We've got the Reinhardt shield up and pushing steadily forwards. Coco's moving, and oh, great bomb there coming in. The pulse bomb of Torque is going to do some great damage. That was fantastic.
That was amazing. But in all seriousness, I'm pretty sure EnVyUs were about half a second away from completing that, and I want to give a lot of credit to TSM for holding out until Torque actually came back on the Tracer, until Hardblue came back on Diva, and they actually got themselves together, and all of a sudden what would have been an ultra-competitive time from EnVyUs is now looking more and more ordinary.
And we've got Tailspin switching away from Mei onto Genji now, so the switch has finally happened, and there is a Great Earth Shadow. That's going to be very painful to deal with. In goes Tailspin on that Genji, looking to get the damage in, and he is just splitting the defense up all over the place here. Frags being made by EnVyUs, and they should surely get it done now.
6 minutes and 18 seconds so far, but this could easily have been a sub-5 minute time. A really good piece of holding out there from TSM, and that is going to restrict EnVyUs to a 6 minute 23 second time. I mean, we say that, that's not exactly slow, but it also wasn't world-beatingly fast.
Yeah, they definitely had some problems there, and I have to say I did really like how the Mei played out in many situations, stopping the retreat from being possible, stopping there from being vision and so on in these key moments. Okay, you know, you can shoot the ice wall down, but the action was so fast after the wall would come in, and using spots like we just saw there to prevent a couple players from retreating, that did make the difference in various scenarios, especially on the home stretch.
It's not so much Mei sort of die-hard killing people here. It's more just using the freezing abilities that Mei has to temporarily take individual people out of the fight. If you're playing 5v4 or 6v5, even for a period of 5 seconds, while the rest of the teams are bunched up together, it's actually a huge advantage for your team. The key to playing Mei well is not dying and constantly being annoying, splitting people up with the wall, being able to use your shift ability to heal yourself up and keep you immune to damage, specifically when attention is drawn to you. And I thought, actually, Tailspin did quite a good job of it. Are we going to see Mei on every map from now on? No, of course we're not. But I think he used Mei to basically the best of her ability there.
Yeah, the crowd control was fantastic. Let's see how he can do now, because he's gone back to Mei again. Tailspin is going to be using it defensively this time, and again, we're going to have to see how effective this crowd control is going to be from Tailspin as TSM look to push in. And as you said, it might not be a setup that TSM are necessarily all too used to dealing with.
And I think in this position, I actually prefer the Mei on defense because it basically prevents people from coming in and flanking. If you constantly have a wall up in the building, for example, then you force the other team to either spend a couple of seconds waiting for it to finish, or you force them to go ahead and go behind a Reinhardt or similar and go from the middle. JKW is on Reinhardt, so it looks like there could be a slow push coming in from TSM, but we do have to be careful to make sure that they are able to get it relatively quickly, because EnVyUs still set a competitive time.
And you can see the hook going on towards Tailspin there, but he can shift his way out of harm's way. And I really do like the potential of making coordination more difficult for the attacking team due to the fact that, as you mentioned, the ice wall can just split people up and stagger the attack. That's really a cool factor that we are yet to really see come into play. There's the ice wall to block off the main building, to funnel the attack into locations that EnVyUs are probably more ready to deal with, although we're going to see the high ground actually taken, which hasn't been so common recently.
Chipsogen on Zenyatta just constantly providing covering fire up top, and the Coco are challenging them as well. The ice wall almost blocking everyone, but not quite, unfortunately. A little bit of a mishap from Tailspin, and now TSM are going to the opposite location. Nicholas, though, is going to die on Junkrat early on as we see the collapse onto the point. Torque now being frozen, getting taken out by Tailspin as well, who is, as we predicted, being extremely annoying. Oh, and using the ultimate on the point to freeze everyone as well.
MVP Mei so far. There's some amazing stuff from Mei, despite the miss on the ice wall when they jumped across. Mei has enabled them to, well, Tailspin has been in a perfect position with Mei to block off the attack, again, to freeze McCree straight away and block everyone off from these choke points. This is actually great stuff.
Something awkward when Mei says, "I'm on fire." You know something's going wrong, unfortunately. Best Mei EU.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very nicely played there from a Tailspin. And now, of course, we have a Riptire coming in as well. Do we actually find any targets? Nicholas is looking for it. The ice wall making it very difficult. He needs to jump. And unfortunately, the Riptire doesn't even have enough time to get to where it needs to be. So that's going to be a little bit whiffed, in part thanks to Mei as well. Oh, and Harblue, again, getting taken down, forcing the Transcendence there to stay alive.
Right now, I'm being charmed by the usage of Mei. Is looking so fantastic here for EnVyUs' side, and they're making life very difficult. 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes left to take this point finally, and EnVyUs is still holding strong right now. TSM not really finding a great way in, and as you mentioned, it does seem very awkward to fight against Mei at the moment. TSM not finding a good solution just yet, and Tailspin back to his usual positioning, trying to divert the attack. Previously we saw that, and he missed the ice wall as they're jumping across, which would have been hilarious. But let's see if this attack will finally work out for TSM.
Well, you have to look out for the likes of Internet Hawk. You have to look out for Taimu. You need to be very, very careful. And as a result, when you're looking out for them, Mei is just able to come on in and freeze things up. She isn't the biggest damage dealer in the universe, but she is very good at keeping people occupied. And that's exactly what TSL need right now. Unfortunately, though, the High Noon takes her down, and TSM are looking like they are going to be significantly more successful with this push here.
They really need to make it happen now, especially that the Mei is indeed out of the picture. Ooh, nice meaty headshots coming in from Torque to make it happen. 2 players down, very key frags, and that is going to be, oh, great timing there on the third with the Deadeye as well. And Torque has made it happen right now for TSM in just barely with enough time, but that did take a long time, and I haven't seen any reason for EnVyUs to come off of Mei just yet as well, and we have seen the Tailspin. If he feels like it's not working, he will switch pretty fast.
So 3 minutes and 23 seconds, unfortunately, was the time it took them to make the first point. So effectively, we need to see them complete the entire map in 3 minutes. That's going to be extremely difficult for them to do. Mei has just been very, very nice for EnVyUs so far. TSM can technically do this, but they need to stomp through EnVyUs at the moment.
Yeah, and one of the annoying things, again, is this this winding road. The ice wall's going to be very powerful. You can see it blocks off almost the entire choke point. Such weird engagement because of that. We see Internet Hulk able to do a lot of damage available in these fights to basically have free reign. And again, an ice wall to block off the retreat. Fantastic stuff. Then the freeze comes in. If it wasn't bad enough, it gets worse. And EnVyUs have done another great bit of work there. Passage of play was fantastic, and they can start moving things forwards.
Yeah, we're reaching a point now where it's going to become very difficult for them they need to win with this push straight up. They can't afford to get wiped again. They're moving in once more. Harblue, of course, on the Diva. Transcendence starting things off here. Are we going to be able to break on through? EnVyUs, a couple of heroes actually losing quite a lot. Gypsygen going to be the first person to go down, and Coco on the tag goes down as well. The start of this fight looking potentially promising, but JKW and Joe Meister both down on the side of TSM.
TSM, indeed, they've lost quite a few players, but so have EnVyUs. Is there still a chance here for EnVyUs to slow things down? Because right now, TSM have control. Payload starting to move it forwards, and as you said, it had to work, and it did. So still some semblance of hope, but it is definitely stretched at this point. And we're going to see Nicholas taking the forward position. No one spotted him just yet, but they could very likely assume that he is taking some sneaky positions. And if they're cognizant of the fact that he's on the Reaper, and they know.
Yeah, I mean it's around 1.5 minutes now for them to finish the map. It's technically possible. In fact, no, it's just over 1 minute left actually. Gypsygen coming in with Transcendence, and EnVyUs trying their best to pick off people as quickly as possible. Interhell getting double kill, and Gypsygen actually picking up Joe Meister as well. I think this might be the beginning of the end for TSM here, as the team fight definitely going in EnVyUs' favor.
It's looking great right now for the EnVyUs side as they get all the kills that they need, and now it is surely all over for TSM. There's just too little time, and we get Internet Hulk taking a very dirty position. He's got the Death Blossom as well. And I think my fortune cookie opened up with saying, "Thought is the blossom." I don't know how that applies, but it says blossom, so I'm sure there's something we can maybe get to in the future there
Well, there's only 30 seconds left to go. I think mathematically it's now pretty much impossible. We're going to go again, Tailspin with the ultimate, and May, well, slowing everything right down and freezing it all up, and they're going to have to move on back. They are getting team wiped. All 6 of TSM are dead. A very classy way to finish things off, and EnVyUs will be able to win a King's Row.
So, I mean...
It's still possible, but it's also potentially unlikely. Simply because, again, you have your Genjis, you have your Zenyatas, you have your McCrees, all of these heroes that specialize in picking off heroes from afar. And with that hit scan, it's going to be incredibly difficult.
I wonder if we'll see, you know, that very aggressive start where you have people just jumping straight on the payload on the defense because there's so much time to respawn and then get to the second, well, get another defense in before the payload makes it all the way because it travels so slowly.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, we're going to see it though. Although, that said, they're actually going to go super aggressive, so maybe we do get the fast aggression after all, and they're breaking everybody up here. Already 3 quick kills coming in for EnVyUs' side.
Yeah, TSM definitely weren't expecting that. Quite often the teams give each other a reasonable amount of space to work with so that they can go ahead and successfully push over to the first point, because at the end of the day, if the defending team loses people, it takes them so long to actually walk back. But EnVyUs buying themselves basically 30 seconds worth of time, surprising TSM with a very quick ambush, and they effectively reset and get a free 30 seconds.
So that's exactly what we're looking for. I mean, it's such a smart way to play this map and how the spawns work, as you just described. So now they've set up. They said, okay, we've done the job we wanted to do. We delayed you. Hook attempt coming in there, but it's not going to connect from Harblue. A rare miss we will see from him as the high ground has been taken up. And I like the little formation here, getting players spread out all over the place here for EnVyUs. 3 on the top there on the roof, and a couple on the side angle as well. We get the flash from Taimu. Taimu needs to win that fight so we can get around, but he's going to actually lose the fight to the Roadhog. Oh, the hooks are good. That is so nice there from Harblue. He's staying alive there, healing himself up. Winston will lose the shield, and Harblue's still alive, hooking for days.
Very nicely done there from Harblue. Trying their best to punish EnVyUs for daring to go so far in. It's worth noting, by the way, that that was a one-time use trick. Yes, you know, some people might say, oh, that's a little bit BM from EnVyUs. Actually, all they wanted to do was buy themselves 30 seconds. They immediately backed off and, quote-unquote, went back to normal to try and defend at the second point. They just wanted to buy a little time.
Absolutely. Very smart play, and I mean, they are the innovators, essentially. They're in a position to do that, being the best team in the game at the moment. And here you go, the attack comes in once again. We get the Death Blossom, perfect moment to come in, but doesn't really actually land any of the key kills that need to come in. TSM making some headway.
EnVyUs were trying to collapse onto TSM, but perhaps didn't expect them to rush into the server room so quickly. That actually put them a little bit out of position and allowed TSM to actually get 2 or 3 kills. Harblue in particular there with a double kill on Roadhog meant that that actually backfired a little bit for EnVyUs. So it is going to take 2 minutes and 20 seconds, but TSM will be able to get to the second point. And now we see whether or not there's going to be a hold in the shuttle room.
Does look like TSM have made themselves some good positioning already around the side of the shuttle rooms. This is a brilliant time that they've made that, because I don't think that EnVyUs had really set up all the way just yet. So we're going to see TSM moving the payload quite a lot, and already they're out of those very dangerous choke points. EnVyUs need to reclaim some of the high ground away from TSM so they can retake position on the payload. And we're going to see all the ultimates pop there. The sound barriers coming in as we get the Death Blossom coming in from Nicholas. Not a huge amount of damage done there, but just enough here for Talk to get some frags made, as well as Lucio getting a pick as well, and things working out for TSM.
Yeah, Tailspin and Harry Hook both going down. Taimu going down as well, and EnVyUs potentially guilty of a little bit of overconfidence here, but not to take anything away from TSM. That engagement was fantastic. The timing of the ultimates was very good, and the shuttle room is more or less going to go by in a breeze. Now, watch for a last-second EnVyUs collapse onto this. I wonder if they're going to allow it to go without a fight, and Harblue's actually already anticipating that, coming in with the whole hog. There's the collapse we were talking about. We don't want to let them get this point for free. Let's rush back in.
Yeah, Tailspin on the Soldier at the moment. Sprint definitely going to be nice, getting back into position quickly after dying quite late. And we've got already EnVyUs fighting back. They may be able to push the payload back because one of the reasons why the payload made so much headway is because of TSM's ability to make the frags happen so late for EnVyUs, and EnVyUs couldn't really get set up ever in the shuttle room, it felt like to me.
Well, using the whole hog straight away, just kind of anticipate this, and then still having most of the team falling is a little bit surprising for TSM. They are going to have to reset a bit. Harblue trying to initiate with defensive matrix, but actually there are quite a lot of people looking to fire stuff into that door, so they have to be very careful with the way they move in here. Reinhardt looking like he's going to be the person to do that, but look at this. The entirety of EnVyUs are on top of the shuttle. They have the height advantage right now. Harblue's trying to knock them off with D.Va. Defensive measures to keep them going for as long as possible to buy time for the rest of the team to get in position.
Oh yeah, this is looking quite nice actually from EnVyUs. Much more of a solid hold we're seeing from them as the payload slowly makes its way back. And you can see the main contest is going to come up here as D.Va makes its way up there, but they can't really get a considered effort together, and that is a problem, losing Harblue so early on the D.Va. Now there goes Reinhardt, but his shield's going to go down. They have to force themselves back onto the payload. Right now EnVyUs are controlling the pace.
And it's all about grabbing the positioning on top of the shuttle. Tailspin has gone on to Soldier 76. And again, Soldier 76, the kind of hero where he hasn't gotten any worse, but other heroes potentially countering him have gotten a little bit better. Now, there is a McCree and there is Zenyatta on the other team. We've also got a D.Va, actually. Defensive Matrix can be very awkward against Soldier 76, but when you have control of the top of the shuttle, Tactical Visor, choosing to use it at any time, can be very, very good for EnVyUs.
Oh yeah, this is such a great open space, and right now EnVyUs are looking like they're holding their own, and Tactical Visor, I'm looking forward to seeing when that's going to be coming into play, when it's going to get popped here. So far, TSM are going to have to go for their second go of breaking this shuttle defense. The shield of Reinhardt is proving quite problematic. The drop comes down. The Tactical Visor has been dropped there for Tailspin. Nice Earth Shudder, though, to disable those players and go in for the push, but another Earth Shudder coming straight back. It is absolute madness right now over the payload, but it does look like EnVyUs are holding on.
It's a little bit of a scrappy fight, I have to say, but one or two people coming in at time. Oh, and I love those Helix rockets to pick off Harblue at the end there from Tailspin. That was fantastic. And as things stand, these guys are just doing an incredible job of defending. We need to see TSM mix it up just a little bit. They need to be rushing in a little faster. I want to see Joe Meister with the speed boost. I want to see Harblue maybe with the defensive matrix flying straight up to the top of the shuttle to allow everyone else to sort of move on to the payload and force EnVyUs to come down and fight on ground level. It looks like that's what they're going to try and do here. Self-destruct coming in as well. And we also have Reaper Ultimate coming in. Nicholas going down very quickly, but he takes out both Internet Hulk and Tailspin.
Yeah, really nice pick up by Taimu, but look how pressed the defense is right now. TSM, despite some losses, are pushing them back. Taimu needs some great individual performances. The flicks coming in as he tries to deal with Zenyatta. So many targets to try to attempt to deal with, but it's just too much to handle right now, and it is going to be TSM making their way onto the point, opening those very slow doors, but they will make progress onto the third final stretch.
This is really good because we were describing the exact situation that we needed to happen basically 12 seconds before it actually came about. TSM needed to keep the top of the shuttle occupied and just move with the payload and force everyone to come down and fight them on their terms. They did just that. They are rewarded with being able to go on to the final point. Tailspin has switched on, by the way, to Tracer in the meantime.
Exactly, the Tracer play, I'm looking forward to seeing how that really works out for Tailspin right now as EnVyUs try to block this payload from making it through, and they are taking the fight straight to TSM right now, cutting them off, and it can be quite hard to make it through this valley area. It feels very very tough sometimes, but now the Widowmaker these days is probably a little bit less frustrating.
Yep, certainly. You don't have to worry about basically poking your head out and having it taken clean off. Not something they need to worry about here, but the team fights are huge. Transcendence coming out from both teams. It looks like a very pretty sunrise at the moment, but at the end of it all, a couple of people are going to go down. TSM staggering Lucio Ultimate very well. Joe Meister with excellent timing there, and Chipsogen is going to be an early casualty on the side of EnVyUs. Will it be enough for TSM to win this fight, though? Still the only person dead is Chipsogen. Tailspin coming down as well, but Nicholas and JKW both getting caught out by Tracer.
Yeah, really key pulse bomb there, and then taking out that tank has completely destroyed the defense of TSM as they were moving forwards, and now they're having to just play back, trying to stop themselves from getting taken down. Nice flicks though from Taimu, and he is going to be able to help EnVyUs clean things up and slowly but surely move that payload back. I guess they hoped that gravity would help it move back down that hill, but it will still move at the same speed, unfortunately for them, as we have the Reinhardt back in the picture right now for TSM.
TSM now moving back in. That fight was actually really close. It was basically 1 or 2 people dying on each side, and it kind of ended up with 2 members of EnVyUs being able to push it back. So we'll see how well TSM do this time around. Tailspin, they're getting a fantastic flank, and no one actually paying attention to Tracer means that that was a much more one-sided fight than before, and EnVyUs now firmly in control of the payload.
And they really need Talk to get a flashbang onto Tailspin. As you said, he's having free reign in a lot of these fights. He's doing so much damage unchecked, and you know, it can be hard to stop the Tracer. The stun is much needed. We've got to see if that's going to be an adjustment that will be made right now from the approach of TSM as Taimu looms over the top there with the Deadeye, jumping in with the Deadeye, looking for the fast finish. He'll get it onto Talk, and that is really annoying because again, now the flashbang's out of the picture. No direct counter there for Tailspin. He can just have free reign.
And an internet hole jumping over as well, using Primal Rage to split apart the team of TSM. Torque, the only person who's currently alive. Really frustrating to be them right now because in 28 seconds, they will be no longer able to complete the map. We are approaching the 10-minute mark, by the way. And this is very frustrating for TSM. They want to be able to complete. If they can't, it's going to be a distance marker that determines whether or not EnVyUs beat them on Gibraltar.
Look at this push, though. So much savage aggression with the charge, and they need to get these kills made. They must win this team fight to get some extra distance on the payload. It's actually going all the way at the moment, and now it's all the pressure on EnVyUs to stop the final completion, as the distance is going to be looking pretty good. It is so close to the finish. EnVyUs looking to clean things up, though, getting all the frags. Tailspin with a couple, with 3 in fact, as again unchecked, the Graviton Surge comes in, and that is going to be it. EnVyUs will stop it, but TSM did well to get it so far.
80.56 meters, just short of the final point. So that is how far EnVyUs have to go ahead and push. Essentially, if they more or less complete the map, they will be able to do that. Sick hook to begin with, by the way, from Harblu. Fantastic highlight there. And then going into the server room. A lot of promise after the initial delay, but EnVyUs got it together and really held on for a long time there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was quite worrying when they lost the shuttle room almost immediately. But as you said, look out for it, for that final collapse before they get the payload onto the point. That was the money play, and then they had that really nice, solid setup on top of the shuttle. Then it was a big struggle for TSM to deal with that. And generally speaking, you know, EnVyUs with a much better performance after that. And I do like how they started out with the initial aggression, you know, dropping down, buying themselves some extra time, and we can see that that really, really helped out in the long run.
Yeah, it definitely did. The collapse back on the end of the shuttle room really bought EnVyUs a lot of time. It had to happen. If it didn't happen, they ran the risk of TSM running away with it or having something absurd like 7 minutes to complete the final point. So keeping the time pressure on TSM allowed them to complete the hold, admittedly more or less at the death, but that's very, very useful for them indeed.
So will TSM go for the same approach on the defense? Will they go for the quick dive, more or less outside of EnVyUs' spawn to buy themselves some extra time? As far as their setup goes, I mean, they've got the Winston there, they've got Harblu, who has got the has the money hooks, so I feel like they could go for it if they wanted to.
I'm keeping an eye on Nicholas, by the way, who is on Soldier 76. Whether or not Taimu and Internet Hole combined are looking to try and disrupt that, I'm not sure. You can see, actually, they're giving EnVyUs an awful lot more room here. They're not trying to ambush them on the outset. They're just looking to defend the second point. So the payload is going to very, very easily sweep to underneath the archway, which will be the first point. Tailspin looking for enemies and going, hang on a second, you seem to be in a relatively normal position. And it's at that second point where we'll start to see the real fight begin.
Well, let's see if that's going to pay off. A different approach for TSM. Will it buy them the time that they need to take this one down? Maybe even hold the first point. Looking forward to seeing how this plays out, especially with the Soldier. I mean, you can see all the damage he's raining in at the distance. Obviously, it was a little bit of a nerf there on the distance and the spread, but either way, it's going to be a couple shields there. Just a little bit of annoying, niggly issues to deal with before the push finally comes in. You can see Roadhog getting sent into space.
Wow. Yeah, and he goes down to Taimu at the moment as well. We're looking for the damage being done by Soldier, but Nicholas actually goes down. And I have to say, at the moment, the McCree just seems to be significantly stronger. But don't forget, of course, there are McCrees on both teams. Torque and Taimu taking those up. So Nicholas really just acting to bolster that damage. But so far, not been a world of good here. They have managed to hold for now, but it is only 1 minute and 10 seconds old. If EnVyUs can actually get through to the shuttle room with this push, they will be comfortably faster than TSM.
do like how TSM decided to just take it very easy there. They forced EnVyUs to come around the sheer angle, really bait them in deep before then jumping on them, when it was much harder for supporting Squishies to get close as well. And that worked out really well. And again, that confidence that they can stop the payload right before it hits the checkpoint, that's very important. And let's see if it works out a second time running.
So going via the high ground here, Tailspin, they're almost going down very, very quickly. And Torque actually gets taken down by Internet Hulk. Again, leaping in with Winston to try and kill everyone that happens to be on the back lines. And now we've activated Primal Rage as well to clear everybody else off the point. Internet Hulk definitely deserves a lot of credit for the way this attack is turning out for EnVyUs. Even if they don't succeed in taking the point, I feel like the game plan actually was executed quite well.
Oh yeah, absolutely agree with you on that one. And it's great to see that Taimu is going to be finding himself in a more forward position here with the McCree. I'm wanting to see some nice snipes there. With that buff primary fire, he's going to get himself into position. TSM looking pretty good. Again, just running this setup. It's been working pretty well so far. Third time's the charm again. EnVyUs will be moving in.
The amount of constant damage Nicholas is doing is now really starting to show on Soldier 76. Taimu in a little bit of a battle with Roadhog there. And very, very tricky, of course, because there's just so much in the way of hit points for them to have to play with. Now Primal Rage actually being used by JKW as well to bat EnVyUs away. As things currently stand, both teams have all players available, and it looks like we are resetting for another fight.
TSM really making life rather difficult. And here you go, you got Taimu again looking for those picks, just some extra damage before the push comes in with his teammates. And the flashbang comes in, but nice barrier to stop any finishing blows there. And the high noon for Taimu, the barrier is going to drop just in time, I think, but he doesn't get anything done with the high noon as his teammates drop in on top of the payload. Now we've got the tactical visor with a bit of damage there, and that's going to really start to help swing things. Now the barrier's been dropped for TSM. They're looking really on point.
Yeah, this is very promising. They have actually delayed EnVyUs a very, very long time so far. Bear in mind, though, that because the payload didn't actually reach the end of the map, it's all about distance pushed. So time being run down does reduce the amount of time EnVyUs have to complete the shuttle stage, if they do actually get there. But otherwise, it is purely down to distance.
And it's definitely quite worrying, I think, for EnVyUs that they are having such a difficult time here just on the first point. Obviously, TSM's approach seemingly much more considered, and the coordination is looking very good in how they allow space to go towards EnVyUs before they then, reinvest on those positions on top of the payload. Going for the dive. That seems like a very nice approach. EnVyUs can't seem to stop it just yet. They keep getting so far up, and it looks like they're about to do it, but then they get denied.
And Harblue getting absolutely ganked from all sides there. Taimu taking out Torque as well. So this is a very good start to the engagement for EnVyUs, because there's the push that they need to finally get to the second checkpoint. They're at about 4 minutes and 20 seconds at the moment, and it looks like it. So the door will open. It took them a little while, but they are now officially residents of the shuttle group.
Yeah, and can they get that super fast take that we saw from their opponents TSM when they were on the attack? That's going to be the interesting thing for me. Or will they have a lot of trouble moving forward? So they got a big commitment onto the payload. Of course, they must move it with at least 3 players there to get the speed on point there. And it's looking like there's not the best setup here for TSM. It's a bit rushed. Not everybody was there to offer the spawn quickly enough, but still they have a good advantage on the high ground. But the payload is still moving. It's their prerogative right now to stop it from going so far. Are they going to drop down right now? They have to find the perfect timing.
And I think 4 people dropped down, but the rest, maybe a little bit of hesitation coming out of there from TSM, but a fantastic Earth Shatter is going to mean that doesn't matter at all. JKW getting 2 people, Coco and Tailspin, and Joe Meister actually on Lucio getting the final hit off on Taimu. So TSM at the moment doing tremendously well in the shuttle room against EnVyUs. Are they going to be able to push it all the way?
Yeah, it did make some good ground, but again, we saw once that position gets really solidified, it can be very troublesome to break it. And so EnVyUs are going to have to show some nice skills, some nice strats and tactics to actually break this position. As you can see up top, on top of the shuttle there, behind the Reinhardt shield, looking very comfortable and cozy altogether.
Indeed they are. They've got that high ground position now. They need to stop EnVyUs moving on in. And JKW with the shield pointing downwards. Here comes the collapse. Straight on top, we have Lucio ultimates from both sides. Tailspin trying to use the Death Blossom to get a couple of kills. Not quite able to do so at the moment. Shake goes down, but that's the Coco. And we have High Noon coming out as well simultaneously here. A lot of stuff going down. Taimu still has his High Noon available. Torque, unfortunately, getting wiped in the process of using that. And EnVyUs will be able to exit the shuttle room.
That was really nice, actually, especially because when Transcendence came in... I guess we'll have a suicide to change. change away from D.Va perhaps.
It was a terrifying scream, actually.
It was, yeah. I was a little bit worried. It's like a little bit mortified.
Not very good dive, maybe 3.4 out of 10.
Yeah, somewhat lacking. But I do like how EnVyUs played that one, creating a lot of space for the Transcendence, and TSM coming in just a little bit too late. And we do have an interesting situation now, because EnVyUs, this is very doable for them.
It is indeed. And they basically have to complete the point because it does take quite a while. I think the quote-unquote parking space is basically right next to completing the map anyway, but they are in a good position to do that at the moment. D.Va popping defensive matrix to basically get in the face of McCree and try and eliminate how much damage Taiyu can actually get done here. TSM in the meantime, they're fighting with 3 players at the moment and EnVyUs with 5, so currently looking very good for them as they push the payload around the final bend.
Yeah, they have some great momentum in here because we have 2 players still dead for TSM, allowing a lot of extra positioning because TSM don't want to recommit into the fight with a numbers disadvantage. They've got to wait for everybody, and that is key distance and time bought here for the EnVyUs side. But now this final push needs to work out for TSM off the spawn. The Deadeye to buy some time right now, and this is all about the individual skills right now. Got to hit those shots as time moves all over the place. He's going to get focused down. He's got to be careful. The Transcendence will save him, though.
And he's looking for opportunities to try and use. He's got Deadeye again already after cancelling from 50%. Torque, that ultimate available. Taimu, also that ultimate available. The payload very, very close now. There's still 2 minutes and 15 seconds for EnVyUs to push it to the 80 meter mark. Not very far at all for the payload to travel, so they do have to be extremely cautious.
EnVyUs taking some time, a little bit of quiet before the storm. Looking to set up the next push. Will it be the push that will win the day? All the suppressing fire there from the D.Va. Obviously not going to do much damage, but it looks cool anyway.
Yeah, well, Taimu, by the way, has switched on to Reaper, and Torque at the moment is trying to fight him, managing to successfully take him out, but he gets taken out as well. And we'll see. Reapers for both teams really just trying to get some burst damage for a team wipe at the moment. 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go to seal the deal here on the heart of TSM.
It's looking very backwards and forwards. EnVyUs, though, with a numbers advantage here. They've got to make that count, though. And we've got the self-destruct in there for TSM again, buying some time. And you can see everyone from TSM positioning around that to now make or start pushing that payload back even further. Things starting to get a little bit labored here for EnVyUs. They've got to start to be, they're surely sweating a little bit at this point.
Yeah, if EnVyUs are able to do this, it's going to be absolutely sick. 1 minute and 3 seconds remaining for them to push the payload, basically another 10 in-game meters. And right now, they just need one opening, and is this going to be it? Tailspin moving in with the Pulse Bomb, but Transcendence means that that's going to be very difficult. Indeed, Torque gets taken down. Nobody is looking out for Tailspin right now, and all of this damage is being unanswered. Is this what EnVyUs need to put it beyond doubt?
Yeah, they're still not looking. He's just getting free reign, doing so much damage. And that's going to make up for the Pulse Bomb not being absolutely perfect. But there are still players. There is still hope. There is still a fight left in TSM just yet as they start to battle back, swinging the hammer. But the hammer will be swung no longer as we get more frags coming in. Tailspin, still unchecked, still dealing damage, still blinking all over the place. But finally put to rest by TSM.
71 meters. The payload still needs to move forward. It is now moving. And we have 10 seconds left to go. This is so unbelievably close. Everybody collapsing on the part of TSM now. They just need to delay a little while longer. 5 seconds left to go. 76 meters, plays 80. And TSM, are they going to do 78, 79, and overtime? Oh my God, this is absolutely insane. It looks like TSM are going to fall just short, maybe? No. Oh, there we go. Wow, that was so unbelievably close.
Wow.
Wow.
That was 1 meter for ages. That was some good Gibraltar action right there.
And breathe. And oh, very nice. I think the charge there was actually more important because at the end of the day there was additional hit points remaining thanks to Lucio's ultimate. So what you want to do is take people out of the fight, charge a single person, do as much damage as you can there. Junkrat.
Ooh, I would like to see some more Junkrat, especially on that first point. I don't know if I want to believe, though.
It is very, very dangerous indeed. The teams are ready. They are getting into position now. And JK, well, we have got a Junkrat on Tailspin. I do not think JKW is staying his hands out.
Shield matrix established.
I mean, we saw some stuff from May, but there is just no way that you can make that. Surely that you can make Hanzo work.
If only it wasn't one hero limit, we'd have seen 4 Mays. We missed a trick. Darn. All right. EnVyUs coming out now. Tailspin is going to be playing Junkrat. Note that Internet Hulk, by the way, is busy getting charged on Symmetra. Now, very, very far. It looks like someone's playing football there just for a second. Very, very far to go from the spawn. So Chipsogen going down on Zenyatta, for example, will take him a while. If Internet Hulk gets a teleporter up early, this could be to their advantage, but TSM do not want to let that happen.
You can see the power of the Junkrat there, able to crush the Reinhardt shield, but I think Reinhardt actually pushed the team up close enough into the open space through the choke point, enabling big potential here to actually take the payload all the way to the end. A lot of space gained here by TSM. This is actually quite worrying for EnVyUs and their chosen setup. Obviously, Symmetra's not really there to provide a lot of extra damage for the team, so a lot of it falls onto Tailspin hitting all of these grenades, and it's just not working out too well. Although that said, he does get a money shot straight into the face of Reinhardt. But
we've got the double. I mean, we've got the double support there. Harry Hook actually brought people back, and people can go through Internet Hulk's teleporter. So both of those things are up at the moment, allowing EnVyUs to come back in quickly. But the remaining heroes don't have enough DPS to stop TSM. That's the issue. They can pile in as quickly as they want.
And this is, I think, every time we've seen a setup like this, we've seen this happen actually, where it doesn't matter. They can't really get their money's worth out of the teleporter.
Goodbye Junkrat, goodbye Symmetra. We're going to have to see things changed up very quickly. TSM have just shown us one of the fastest pushes through the marketplace we've seen on Dorado.
Absolutely, and now it falls to the high ground setup for the defensive side in EnVyUs, and they are rapidly trying to rush towards that position, but they would have liked to be there a little bit earlier. I mean, there's a lot of damage opportunities that they have missed out, and the payload is making its way across, and it's going to be pretty hard for them to actually dive in. They don't really have any ultimates to work with.
Oh, and Lucio coming in as well, just to double check that they're not going to be completely and utterly destroyed on the move down there. EnVyUs is actually getting everyone dead except for Harry Hook. TSM are flooding through here like there's no tomorrow. EnVyUs is just not able to reset in time, Dan. This is a very spirited game here from TSM.
Absolutely, it's so problematic again, you know, due to the fact that they were really committed into that first play. They didn't have enough time to set up on the high ground to stop this play from coming in, but they needed some big stuff. Nice running headshot there. The drive-by from Taimu. Oh, he's not done just yet. Gets hooked down though, but he's still alive just for a moment longer, able to do some extra damage. But will it count right now? We have the rest of EnVyUs trying to get in there as well. And so far, actually, they're making it work. There is still a chance for them to stop TSM just going all the way through to that third for the home stretch.
It's a little bit crazy that the first time EnVyUs actually hold TSM properly, they're very close to the penultimate checkpoint, and it was basically 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the map. That could have ended up being so quick for TSM. So a barnstorming, blistering start to Dorado for our red team here. We'll see if they can continue it. They've only been wiped the once so far. The railings, well, they're not getting a lot of love here. So they're a little bit like the rocks in StarCraft 2. Everyone hates them. But now we have TSM collapsing once more onto EnVyUs. Can they actually make this work?
And there goes Tailspin. Look at the timing there on his ultimate. He's able to get the Death Blossom ready, and he's going to just jump off the payload, but almost immediately getting a frag onto Hard Blue as well. Looking pretty good. More Death Blossoms in there. Now as Taimu's going to find his way around, just using that flashbang to great effect, almost throwing it into the mouth of the Reinhardt there, taking down JKW. And once again, EnVyUs will add a bit of calm and tranquility to what was otherwise an initially very chaotic start for them.
I can guarantee a flashbang to the mouth is never pleasant.
Nope.
And no amount of alcohol will fix that, unfortunately. Really fantastic stuff coming out of EnVyUs there. Taimu in particular basically got 3 headshots to finish off that engagement. TSM still have plenty of time though, 2 minutes and 55 seconds to push to the next checkpoint, and it's actually very close to where they want it to be right now, so let's see if they can do it. But EnVyUs taking the fight to them this time around. Taimu getting the first kill off on Joe Meister.
And Taimu continues to do a lot of good work at the moment, as Tailspin is the one, though, to get all the frags with Mr. Reaper. And Shotgun's doing a lot of damage, and EnVyUs is finding themselves in some repeatedly great engagements. And I love how they're holding the side here, obviously not trying to overextend too heavily initially onto like the deepest part of the high ground, which they can now start to think about doing as they've had so much success in pushing the payload back.
Yeah, they really did, and just making sure the flank isn't there, like you said, Dan, and just double checking to see when they can actually move on down. Joe Meister has got his ultimate available on the part of TSM as well. We have Transcendence, then staggering. So Joe Meister choosing now, and High Noon coming out as well from Torque, looking for targets, trying to find them, not quite able to make it work, unfortunately. So much health going on for both sides with those supports playing all those ultimates. Tailspin now up top. He's got Death Blossom available. He's looking for an opening. Is he going to find it? Here comes the collapse.
Oh, that is fantastic. Magnificent play there from Tailspin, finding the perfect timing to go in for the Death Blossom. And TSM was so spread out at that point, already having lost a couple players, that they were unable to foresee it and then deal with it as it came in. Not much you can do. And once again, EnVyUs looking okay again. I mean, I was very worried for them initially, but again, it seems like they're holding. They might even go for the full hold here.
I'm very, very surprised. TSM started this map so well. They pushed this point in under 2.5 minutes, and then suddenly they have been stopped in their tracks, completely stopped dead. They need to mix something up. EnVyUs have just been taking these engagements so well at the penultimate point, using the high ground to their advantage. Taimu trying to get a little bit of leverage with the High Noon, not on this occasion though. And here comes TSM for the retake.
And I feel like right now, actually, there's a few TSM players who are a little bit out of position potentially. They could be separated and maybe eliminated in isolation here, but that said, we get the Graviton Surge coming in. It's not going to result in too many frags right now, but Nicholas, again, getting so much damage in close range with the Reaper, left unchecked as Taimu tries to get something done here, but he's going to have to go for that health, and he's going to be out of the fight just for a moment as TSM are starting to do a good job.
Internet Hulk trying to stall for time in front of the payload. He finally goes down. Transcendence, though, doing his best to stop that from happening. I think EnVyUs know that the full hold won't be possible if they don't actually hold this particular fight. But Taimu has it all to do on his own. Harblue's mech goes down. The rest of the team are starting to come back, though, so maybe Taimu has stalled long enough.
It looks like that is absolutely the case right now, as he's able to get his entire team back into position and go for it. Oh, almost getting the pick off there, and maybe, oh, there it is. Nice finish onto Torque. That's a big frag there from Taimu, and that is going to just shut it all down. Beautiful forward play right at the end. Nice little flourish from Taimu, and that's going to be, again, a pretty decent result, all things considered.
Considering how TSM started that map, EnVyUs are going to be extremely pleased. 70.43 meters, I believe, is the target to beat, but I think EnVyUs did a great job of stopping the momentum there. It frankly built so unbelievably quickly for TSM that I'm just very impressed with EnVyUs that they were still able to collect themselves and go, yeah, don't worry about it, we'll full hold them here.
Absolutely. I mean, the composure, because it does feel like a lot of teams in that position where they're always kind of playing a step behind their opponents. They're trying to say, we really want that setup, but we don't have enough time to do it. We're going to still try to commit to do it, instead of having the presence of mind to say, okay, look, we can't get the optimal setup. We're going to have to rely on a little bit of individual skill, maybe some disadvantages, but let's just try to play as a unit and all understand that across all 6 players. And that's kind of what it felt like actually happened with EnVyUs. Yeah. We had Taimu leading the charge. They were able to have not the best engagements, but they made it work, and then they could slowly build into better and better engagements as they staggered the respawns of their opponents.
Completely right, and staggering the respawns is the critical part there. It just makes it so much easier to have those follow-up engagements. So we'll see what ends up happening. And, well, TSM have it all to do now. They were on the cusp of being able to drive the point home, but it doesn't look like that was going to be possible on this occasion. EnVyUs really changing the way that they played, I have to say, to accommodate. And, yeah, they just did a really good job.
Do you think Internet Hulk has practiced those angles?
He's putting the stars in the sky.
Oh, shooting stars.
Isn't that sweet? That, or he's actually trying to get some cheap damage done.
Well, looks like that's not going to happen in the end, and the push is going to commence.
Indeed it is. 93.46 meters to go after the market checkpoint, so we'll see what ends up happening here. And at the moment, EnVyUs, I still think it was so impressive. 2.5 minutes for TSM to get to the second checkpoint, and then suddenly complete full hold. Let's see what they have in store now on the defense.
Yeah, and there's no shenanigans with any either side's setups. Looking pretty textbook at the moment. TSM not opting for any Symmetra or Junkrat play, as we will see Taimu getting himself into position, as well as the Genji starting to just peek in there, start to peek, prod, send the feelers out there, and now send the entire push. Charging down the stairs and trying to wrap around the defense.
Here we go, EnVyUs. Tailspin actually going down very early in this engagement. Torque and Hardblue getting a very nice kill each, and Internet Hulk is a big pickoff. Only Coco left as attack for Team EnVyUs at this present time. Nicholas, though, one of the big damage dealers, goes down for TSM, so both sides reeling a little bit from the damage, and Taimu going back to try and get some damage done with Deadeye. I think the entirety of it was used. It was, so he's back down to 0% with no kills on the board.
Yeah, very close there on getting a frag, but not quite finding the timing. Doesn't matter though, EnVyUs will still push on through. Nice stuff there from Tailspin, and look at how far they're pushing this, and this is so important. Again, we're talking about staggering the respawns, we're talking about making sure that you can get everybody set up on the high ground in time, and that's what Internet Hulk is doing here by pushing forwards with Winston in combination with his friend Taimu on the McCree, and that's going to be very problematic if they can continue to deny the high ground like that.
And at the moment, we've only used a minute and a half, so very fast coming out from EnVyUs. We need to see, though, if they're able to get held here. Now, it's all about the high ground. Tailspin at the moment doing his best to make sure that these guys are distracted as much as possible. You can see he's just climbing onto the ledge there to see what purchase he can actually get on a TSM. Right now, though, the high ground advantage is very firmly in the red team's favor. Oh, God, until that happened, Joe Meister and Torque going down.
Yeah, this is a really great opportunity here for EnVyUs, and that said, we will get a couple kills there, but Hardblue going in with the ultimate on Roadhog, just spamming away, and that's going to be a nice couple of kills coming in for him. But EnVyUs still have a few more tricks up there. Steve's got Taimu wrapping himself around the payload, trying to get the initial kill there, or rather the end kill there onto Hardblue, the last remaining player who was stopping the payload from moving, and now it will continue to progress.
The payload getting closer and closer to the objective point. We are now at basically 65 meters. TSM need to hold in this position, and they have to hold here for a near full 5 minutes. Ultimates coming down all over the place. Taimu benefiting from sound barrier now as EnVyUs look to push things forward. 3 members, 5 members are now taken down, and I think that's going to be it for EnVyUs. They're up to 85 out of 93 meters. TSM trickling in. Nicholas is on Tracer, but Flashbang is going to seal the deal. Congratulations, EnVyUs are going to take it.
And it was the result that we always expected. I think TSM were able to do a good job giving them some trouble here or there, but I think it's fairly clear across the board. EnVyUs, great work. But they did not look indomitable.
No, they absolutely didn't. There were periods where they were making those small mistakes. We were talking about that in the semi-final as well as the final. This was the pentakill coming out from Tailspin in the first.